And back behind those horses, I Am Unstoppable. Osmosis at the clock tower, led by a length to Shinzo, Arkansas Kid, and I Am Unstoppable is running on. The leader, Osmosis, with 50 metres to go. Osmosis is clear and will take it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, punters of all ages, welcome back to the Quaddie Poddy. Mitchell Cashmore, joined by Nick Holland in our very own studio, mate. How bloody are you?
Great, mate. Awesome setup we've got here. We've been working hard since autumn, and here we are back for spring in one of my spare rooms. We've got everything we need here, so we don't need to go out to Bella Vista anymore. We're all done over there because it's getting busy. We started a couple of years ago when it wasn't too common to have a podcast.
We set the trend.
Now it was getting hard in the back end of that to try and book in consistently. So now we can do this whenever we want. So we're currently recording at 10 p.m.
But we have the freedom to.
We have the freedom to.
So whenever.
It's good. So it's not probably finalised just yet. We've got a couple little tweaks to go with it, but apart from that, it looks pretty good, if you ask me.
The YouTubers, once this goes up on YouTube, you'll see just our flag, currently signed by Jack Jenkins and Kieran Briggs, AFL star. So that's our flag that we're going to get signed by all the people that we actually interview in person. Unfortunately, Campbell Brown's not there because Cashy forgot to pack it for the Gold Coast trip. And then you'll just see a plain white wall that we're planning on filling up with a bunch of merchandise and memorabilia. So give us your thoughts, what we think we should be whacking on the walls here. Is it maybe a centrefold out signed photo of Osmosis? Is it...
Definitely not.
Is it signed footy gear? Is it jockey gear? Speaking of Osmosis' new theme song, mate, thank you as the podcast producer for putting it together.
Yeah, it took me not that long, to be honest. We were speaking to some people and we thought Crone's been retired for 3 years. Great intro, did us very well.
Very iconic
got us
intro.
to this point. It feels a little bit different, and I wonder what people are thinking that are listening to it. But look, we needed something different, and I knew it's probably the most iconic thing to our podcast. Well, not necessarily to me, but to you, Cashy, with Osmosis. So there's a bit of a meme going on there, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But we had to change it. So let us know what you think, or if there's any other horses that you want to get in there. There just hasn't been. I really like that Crone call. That's why I made it.
I didn't realise it was so good till it was gone.
Yeah, that Osmosis win. It's kind of mid compared to Crone.
As much as I hate to admit it, like, it's true.
Yeah, and then we were talking about different calls, and then we talked about Nature Strip winning the Everest. We talked about
Oban Buremeyer winning the Golden Eagle.
Yeah, we talked about
Very Elegant winning the Cup.
But then the two problems with the Very Elegant and then Nature Strip is they're retired as well. Oban we could have done, but it just didn't really seem right. I thought Osmosis for now until we find something that really is just a great call we'll go with, but it's settling with us for now.
Yeah, it's a good call. Don't get me wrong. Matt Hill's a great commentator. Do not get me wrong, but like, yeah, before it was gone, we didn't realise that Mizzy in front at the 100, Crone goes up the inside and Crone takes the lead in the Coolmore was just... And maybe that's rose-tinted glasses because we've been listening to it for 6 seasons now. It's our 7th season of the Quaddie Poddy now. So maybe that's why we love it so much, because it's been in our ears every week for the last 3 years. But yeah, moving forward, new studio, new theme song, new setup, ready to crack in.
Smash straight into it.
All right, mate. So let's just, other than that, let's catch up. Last few weeks, it's been a couple of things racing-wise, one of which we've really been getting momentum with the best bets.
Yeah, we've been working well. We both, as all of you would have seen, we did 30 days, 30 tips. We started with that. I'm not going to let you get away with that, mate, because this is the platform where I have to give you a bit of shit for it. So, for those that didn't see and don't follow us on some of our socials, so Cashy started with a 30 days, 30 tips, in which he got 4.
I think it was 4 or 5, and I came second like 12 times. It was ridiculous.
4 out of 30 you got right. In all fairness, they were horses only. 4 out of 30 he got. However, I then went on to do 30 days, 30 tips.
Smashed me.
Which I personally chose to do whatever I wanted to bet on during whatever it was. So I did a lot of NBA, different things. I did a lot of horses as well. I did get 3 horse tips, I think, right.
Yeah,
so you can't even use the argument that horses is harder because.
But at the end of the day, if you would not be landing Monday donkeys at Gundagai like I had to tip every single time. You avoided it at all costs. Every time you did like a Monday horse,
I was never chasing. So it didn't matter. But look, yeah, that did well. I think it gained at least 500 followers from
if not
from
more.
that. So if you're from there, thank you for joining us. But yeah, it's been a good couple of months off. Racing is finally coming back, and it's starting to really ramp up. This week's looking really exciting. Last week exciting. Even was very nice to see some good horses back. The weather's getting better as well in general out here in Sydney. Everything's just starting to look a bit more like spring and coming into summer.
Yeah, I'm pumped up. I'm ready to go. The last few weeks. We went on a stretch, I think it was 7 weeks or 6 weeks, where at least one of us hit a best bet. And there was a couple of weeks in there where we both swept it, which is really positive to see as well. And then, now the good horses are back. Hopefully that momentum continues, because there's many a time where we'll tip 5 to 6 winners on the card, but then our best bets won't get up. So hopefully the best bets are getting up this time around. Like, we're just coming off Gatsby's and Tom Kitten, 2 horses that I think are going to take spring by storm. Very, very good. We'll talk about them a bit more later. Another thing quickly that's only just happened, Black Caviar, RIP. Obviously, before our time, but still an icon of the sport, an icon of Australia in general, really.
Yeah, I think it brought, Black Caviar really brought a lot of people into the racing scene from a punting point of view, and also just a sport point of view. So yeah, very sad to see. It's an unfortunate part of life, but rest in peace.
Yeah, as much as I would love to rattle off some of my favourite Black Caviar stories, I unfortunately have none, because again, before my time. I have Winx stories because Mum forced me to sit down and watch it, but Black Caviar, I just grew up knowing the name. Don't think I could say I ever sat down and watched a race, just purely because I was too young. But still, will be sorely missed. Only other thing that's probably update punting-wise, do I have a story for the punters at least, because you know this story. The Quaddie. We are the Quaddie Poddy, and we do like to hit them now and then. I hit one a few weeks ago, the Rose Hill Quaddie. Not the last one, 2 weeks ago. Me and my father and one of my father's good friends, Duffy, shout out to you, mate. We decided to go get some beers and just have a nice quiet afternoon. On the way up to the bowling club, Duffy goes, "Come on, surely we're putting a Quaddie on." And I'm like, all right, done. Put in all our numbers. First leg, we're giving Dad shit for putting like a $27 horse in. What happens? Misses the kick by about 4 lengths and still romps in. Don't know how that happens on a track like Rose Hill. It was wide as, missed the kick by that much, swung wide and still got the job done, like $27. That would have knocked half of Sydney out. Then, my best bet of the day, Williamsburg gets up at $8. Bang. Then your best bet of the day gets up at like $2.70, I believe. Bang. And we get down to the last leg. So this is where a lot of quaddies end up falling apart. You get down to the last leg. We had 4 horses left. We had the favourite. We had not the second favourite that eventually started to drift into favourite. So we were getting very, very scared. And then we went wide for the 2 other legs. I put in Secret Plan purely because Monarch Racing. Of course, those in the know, we've got horses with Monarch now. Shout out to them. We're going to be detailing those horses' careers. But, Secret Plan at $56. I put it in purely out of loyalty, and we needed a leg to cover because I was convinced that, I forget its name now, but the Joe Pride horse that wears the same silks as Private Eye and Think About It, me and Duffy were convinced that was just going to piss in. So I was like, all right, I'll go wide, Secret Plan, Monarch, bada bing, bada boom. Turn the corner, that drops out, that's gone. Dad immediately gives up, thinks we're gone. Duffy sees me still cheering because Secret Plan has rounded the corner in front and it's still kicking on. He thinks that's the favourite. So we've done the dividends. We know if the favourite gets up, we win about $300 each. Woohoo. if the second favourite got up, we were going to win about 600 each. Dad's rough one that he put in, about $1,000. Somehow mine got up, secret plan. We were walking away with much, much more. And it just kept kicking. And boy, they made it close, but got the nose over the line. I turn around. I say, boys, that was the roughest one. Everyone's face drops. And we're waiting with bated breath to see if it comes up in the frame. It does. The whole TAB, it was about 20 blokes, all went nuts, got around us, and we walked away each with $7,500. We were one of 8 people to hit the quaddie. It paid like 39 grand. We had 60%, so that's like 22 grand. And I've still got the ticket. It's going to be kept with me always. I've got to figure out where it is. Here we go. That's probably the most money you're ever going to say, mate, on a tab ticket in person.
Wow.
Nuts.
So let me just get this straight. You won the quaddie. That was what that 10-minute story was.
Oh, come on. I won a quaddie that paid 22 grand. That's a good story. Fuck you.
Sorry, bro. I fell asleep halfway through that one.
That's bullshit. I'm sure they loved it. Oh, well then. Okay. My bad. I only had to go and win 22 grand and I still can't get a...
Actually, while I'm on the topic, I heard, I'm not going to name who, someone sent me a message in real life, actually, a conversation. Had a conversation with me that you were holding the ticket and you were shaking because you were scared that someone was going to come and steal it from you or you were going to lose it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I was. It's the most money I'm ever going to hold in my hands.
That's it. All right, well, we'll move on. We've got our next part. Great story, mate. I was taking the piss. As we move it on, we've brought a new segment along. We've done the listener questions, but we've brought the hotline in. We've seen it across different podcasts, but we thought we'd bring it in here. Not too sure. I haven't seen anything. I think Cashy checked to see if a couple of them worked. I personally haven't seen any of them, but look, I think hopefully we have a couple, 2 or 3 maybe, I don't know, but we've also got our normal questions that we'll read out in a sec. So Cash, do you want to get them up?
So mock hotline, call in if you've got a question, call in if you want to give us some shit, call in if you want to, brag about winning the bet. If you manage to win a quaddie, call in, tell us about it. The link will be up on our socials. We'll also keep the link in our show notes if you ever want to call and just let us know. So we'll whack the headphones on, mate. And we've got a few to get through. Let's have a look here. Now, this one is from Charlie Manning. Hopefully this plays nice and loud for you punters.
Hey boys, I'm currently taking a shower. I've got an absolute moral for the weekend. I don't think you boys are going to believe it, but Riff Rocket winning his style the Winx Stakes this Saturday. Get back to me when you see it happen. Riff Rocket will not lose $11. Lock in that quote.
Alrighty,
How good's that?
Shower bets.
Love that.
Good start to the hotline. Shower bets. Riff Rocket.
What was who was it?
That was shout out to Charlie Manning. Thank you for that, mate.
Charlie Manning, the first ever hotline we've ever had, and it's a shower hotline. So thank you, Charlie. Don't mind it. Don't think it's the worst one. I think I won't tell you who we're on, but we've got that in the quaddie. So yeah, not too bad. We'll move on to the next one.
Just quickly, I don't think Riff Rocket wins, but I do think
Riff Rocket's in for a big spring. But I just think a lot of these horses, it's day one of the season pretty much for them. It's not necessarily all in to win this one. I think, Riff Rocket has a big spring. Could get up. Don't think it does.
I think I think it's the forgotten horse in the race and the forgotten horse in spring in general. Riff Rocket's a dog. Riff Rocket.
It's a horse.
Yeah, shut up. It's very versatile. Like everyone says, we'll probably be saying, 1400's too short for it. What did it do in the autumn? 1400 meters first up, put its hand up. Hello, I can do this too. Goes on to win another big race later on in the autumn. Stretches out. It's also a Derby winner. Everyone was like 1400's too short for the Derby winner first up in autumn. Got the job done. I think Riff Rocket, and I think when we were going through, I think it was you that said maybe even horse of the autumn contender. and I hadn't even thought of a possibility because the horse just wasn't in my mind. And I think that's the case for a lot of people. And considering, what did he just say? He's gotten a 13s, it's in the 9s now. So people are paying attention, but we'll go through it more later on in the line. Thank you, Charlie Manning. Now we've just got Mitchell, I think. It's Mitchyl. Funniest spelling of Mitchell I've ever heard. There we go.
Hey boys, just a bit of a hot take here, but Berkshire Breeze to win a Group 1 in the spring. Thoughts, queries, concerns?
Well, my first thought and query is, are you 13 years old? No offense, mate. I love you. Thank you for the question. That caught me so on the back foot. What was the question?
Berkshire Breeze, the big grey, trained by Kieran Ma, going to win a Group 1 this spring. Probably considered top local chance for the Melbourne Cup currently. Not quite sure what it's paying for the Melbourne Cup. I'll quickly double check that. But I know that's one of the top, local chances. I don't know. I think it's a very, very tough, very, very tough. It's not one of the top chances actually. It's not even being considered. I am mistaking it for Grosvenor Square. Sorry. But it is considered potentially a Cups horse, not one of the top chances. But yeah, I think with anything, when it comes to horses that run out this distance, you never know. I think the Australian stayers just put their hands up at different times of the year. Like, it's very hard to predict if it's going to win a big one. What are your thoughts?
I don't have too much of an opinion, to be honest.
Yeah, fair. It's a very tricky one. Thank you, Mitchell. Berkshire Breeze, sorry, $26. So, not one of the top chances, but still is considered potential for the Cup there. But yeah, I think we'll talk about the Cup in a bit anyways.
Wait, how do you spell that name?
Mitchyl.
Well, right. Oh, okay. Next question.
All right, Matthew Correa.
Hey boys, big fan of the shows. Just want to know your top 3 horses each to look out for in the spring. Cheers.
Top 3 horses each to look for in the spring. Look, we are going to do our little rundown of our predictions for spring, where we will give our number 1 seed.
Maybe just some honourable mentions.
Honourable mentions I think Riff Rocket will have a big spring. I think Zougotcha will win a couple of good races. One more. I'll give one more just to outside of my top chance. I'll give. You go through and I'll think of one more.
I think Via Sustainer's got to be the obvious one.
Yeah.
Riff Rocket again, another one that we've already discussed. I think Gatsby's really surprised me last week. I thought it was, a genuine good chance. I didn't expect it to quicken that much and really, put them away. 3-year-olds are tricky. I'll talk about that in a bit because there's a lot of 3-year-old races coming up on the day. Again, like when we're talking about 3-year-olds, Broadsiding looked very good there throughout the late autumn and then into the winter. But again, will it go on with the job? Honestly, can't really think of many others that stick out to me other than, my top couple of seeds. Obviously, there's going to be Fangirl. Fangirl's Fangirl. I think she's the best in the country. Whether or not she's going to be horse of the spring is a different story. But yeah, probably that. Any others that you'd want to mention?
Maybe Jolly Star. I think Jolly Star, not necessarily a big Group 1. Maybe a Group 1 in there, potentially.
1,000 Guineas winner already.
Yeah. Another one I meant. But look, I'll put Jolly Star in there. I think could have a big spring.
I'm not so sold on her, but again, we've got to talk about her later down the line. Well, thank you, Matthew Correa. We will get to the last one. Tom Fletch.
Fletch.
Let's see what Fletch has to say.
Hey guys, obviously it's been a minute since the podcast has been back, and I'm just thinking, something's happened in the time since, and I just want us to take a minute of silence to pay tribute to Osmosis and all he gave to the great sport of racing. You can put some like sad, emotional videos in here on the socials.
Is this one of your mates? Do you know this person?
I know him personally. No, I know of him.
That's great. I thought that was one of your mates. That's great if it's not one of your mates.
I don't know him personally. I know he's a big fan of the show. He's of Tom Dickinson fame. That's how I know him. But I've never met him in person. I love that. That's so good. You know, it is sad. We should acknowledge it. We acknowledge the theme song, but I might go have a cry in the shower too. See you again later on.
Oh, God.
Well, that's the hotline. That's what you expect from the hotline. We've got shower bets. We've got Osmosis tributes. And then we've got a couple of serious questions in there.
Yeah, well, that's the hotline. All right, well, we'll move to listener questions. We'll move here. Henry Beard, the lads are back.
Hell yeah.
Not a question, but thank you. Nah, love you, Henry. Thanks, mate. Sam Taylor, no relation, I'm sure, to the AFL player Sam Taylor.
Oh, I've already suspected that before I got excited.
Who do you have for the Cox in Melbourne at this point in time? I got Via Sustainer for the Cox. Melbourne Cup, I think me and Mitch can both agree. We don't like tipping it. Yeah, it's the hardest race
So
to pick.
much water to go under the bridge. You don't know who's going to be there.
Yeah, I couldn't name you 3 or 4 that are in the field, let alone who's going to win.
Yeah,
so
no one knows until later in the spring.
Stick away from that, and yeah, I couldn't tell you.
Cox, I've got 2 bets so far. One on Pride of Jenny, made it as soon as she crossed the line in the Queen Elizabeth. Whether or not she goes on with the job is another story. And I've also got Royal Champion, just because a mate tipped me into it. It's an international, and that we've got to find out more about when it actually gets the plane over.
Yep. And we move to Jack Kennedy. Do you reckon Pride of Jenny will repeat what she did in her previous racing spell? Look, personally, I think
question.
She can. Will she be allowed to? I don't think so. I don't think we'll see a race like she had earlier in the year where she won by almost a fucking lap. Because the other fields are going to chase her out of it and lead to get her out of the game. So I personally, I think it's going to be the same as it's looked for the last, as it was last spring. Mr. Brightside's going to win a couple of early races. Pride of Jenny will be close second, and then Pride of Jenny will win a couple come late prep. But look, if no one stops her, she will. If no one stops her, she will. Don't get me wrong. I've been wrong about her before. I've taken my licks. I'll do whatever. I don't care. But she can still do it, and she will still do it. It's just if she gets stopped. But I genuinely think that they have to stop her from doing that. Otherwise, she'll win everything.
Yeah, well, like, as much as I want to say she's not going to go on with the job like I tried to in the autumn, she's proven that she can. I think if she can't go on with the job, you'll know straight away. Like, it will literally be apparent from the first start. Kind of like when Nature Strip came back from Europe, how like you kind of figured something was off. So, yeah, I agree. It's one of those horses that's going to be so tricky because you kind of have to back her till she fails now, but when's she going to fail? Like, I think she's probably the most under the pump horse this spring because what she did was phenomenal. But she was doing that every time at like $6, $8, $10 because the market still didn't think she was going to do it. Punters still didn't think she was going to do it. And credit to the people that did get around her. Now she's going to be going around at $2, $3, $4. Whole lot more punters' money on, and they'll get dragged through the coals as soon as she starts to fail if she can't go on with the job. So I'm going to be very interested to see what happens with Pride of Jenny this spring.
Yeah, I just think that when a trainer and a jockey go into a big race like this, in the past, that would never have been a thought that Pride of Jenny would go up to the front like that and lead and win. But that's going to be the first thing on their mind now.
Yeah.
How can they stop that and still be in the race themselves but cut her out of it? So, look, we'll wait and see what everyone has in store because at the end of the day, it's great sport and that's what the love of racing is. So we'll love to see it. As we move to the next one, Hudson asks Cashy's thoughts on the spring on Amelia's Jewel going into spring. Sorry.
Short and sweet. Fraud watch. genuine forward watch. I've got the whiteboard inspired by Dan Gorringe.
Stop there. The whiteboard with, if you guys have seen this, has got the worst handwriting I've ever fucking seen. I'm left-handed as well. My handwriting doesn't look like a 3-year-old. Oh. Mate, your handwriting is pathetic. That was pathetic. Look, seriously, go through our Instagram and go find it, guys, because it's embarrassing.
I feel like now that because I'm in your house, you get a bit more cocky and it's more hate on Cashy time instead of when we're at Bella Vista. Nice joint podcast. Now it's just bad handwriting, bad stories, bad takes.
Your story was good. It was just a bit long.
Okay.
You lost me in the middle.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't know about the punters.
Fair enough. But
I might put a poll up, see who got lost during the story.
But yeah, so far I've got Scarlet Oak and I believe Elias is there for Group 1 winners. Fraud Watch has bustling currently, and definitely Amelia's Jewel's going to get whacked on there. She's got to try and prove herself, under the new trainer. She's come over here to have a full-time whack. Could sink, could swim. Looking forward to seeing it, but Fraud Watch, mate. That's about it.
We'll move to the next one. James X Private. Any horses? Sorry, can I just say here, this is probably one of the best questions I reckon we've had as a listener question. One of the best. Any horses you think will run well at the start of spring but will fall off by the end?
Great question.
I reckon that's a great question. Mr. Brightside, I personally think
100%.
He's done that in the last couple of preps where he starts off red hot and gets those 1,400 meter preps to start off where he's really, really good. And then as you get into the longer distances, he kind of falls off. In saying that, he has been there in a Cox Plate before and he's almost won it. But I'm
still not sold on 2,000 meter, Mr. Brightside.
Yeah, I think it's becoming a trend a little bit. I'd like to be wrong, but it's kind of the way it's all kind of pointing at the moment is Mr. Brightside to start off well and not do too well on the back end. So we'll move to the next one. Leighton Smith. If you had to choose one horse for you and others to follow this spring, who is it and why? Well, we won't answer that specifically because that will bring us to our next little bit is our spring predictions. All right. So we're going to go our biggest flop of the spring and our biggest top seed of the spring, let's say, who we think is going to be a winner.
Yeah, I'll go first. Horse of the spring. I'm going to say Celestial Legend. As long as he doesn't sprint. There are rumours coming out that they want him in the Everest. No. He just was running so well at 1,400 and 1,600. You want a Group 1 at 1,600. We thought he was headed to a Cox Plate. We thought he was headed to whatever, but, the big money talks, mate, and they're looking to do what Giga Kick tried to do last year before the injury and go potentially Everest in the Golden Eagle and target the $30 million or whatever it is now. I believe it's somewhere around 20 to 30 million if you win both of them now. But if he sticks to what he is proven to be good at, I think he will be near unstoppable. If he sprints, who knows? It's just we've seen him no good at sprints before, but if he gets turned into a sprinter, who knows what happens? But if he stays at the mile, Celestial Legend's the one that I want to follow.
Yep. My one to follow for spring is going to be Tom Kitten.
No surprises there. Yeah.
Great win last week. Just got gelded. It's gonna change him entirely.
Brand new horse.
Already
was really good as well.
Yeah, it's giving me Remark vibes. Remark when Remark got gelded did really, really well. Probably not the level Tom Kitten will be, but look, Tom Kitten is looking real nice.
I was shocked that Tom Kitten got gelded. It was a Group 1 winner, placed in other group races, was a really good horse. But, they decided probably don't have to breed from him. Let's geld him and race him for his whole career.
You know what I think, though? Like, Godolphin, they leave colts so often. You know what I mean? Like, they send them to breed where they don't actually do that often and geld them that are really good.
That's what I mean. That's why I was so shocked.
I reckon they're just taking a chance to see how it turns out. And if it does well, we'll probably see more of it.
Yeah,
which I like. We'd love to. You'd love to see.
I told them to chop half Cubbins nuts off.
They should have done half Cubbins.
I'm really looking forward to seeing. Cause again, already a good horse. Chop his nuts off. Usually horses, if you aren't aware, if you're new to racing, gelding usually makes a horse usually go faster, and then if you still can't go fast, it's time to, drop in class or retire, because when a horse gets too coltish, aka gets a bit too horny, and the hormones and the dick starts to get in the way, aka what happened with Osmosis and what happened with many horses. It always happens, and it's either send to the breeding barn or chop the nuts off. I was shocked, and so, showed his class without his nuts, and I think he's going to continue to.
Yeah, well, we'll move on after all that dick talk, and we'll go to biggest flop. I'll go first for this one. Biggest flop for me, I'm going to go with Tissue here. I don't think I think she's coming to the end. I thought in autumn we spoke to Chris Waller, and he said that she's looking really good, and she didn't. She came out and she did. She won one Group 1, I think. I think she did win a Group 1. I'll check quickly.
I don't know if it was a Group 1, but she definitely won feature race.
No, yeah, she did. She won the Champion Stakes. That was a Group 1?
That was last spring. She came second in the Queen of the Turf.
Oh, no, yeah,
third in the Australian Cup. Won the Blamey, Group 2. So
there you go. She was close.
Yeah,
it was last year's Group 1.
Last spring was when she came out really good, and then Chris Waller said she's going to go to a next level.
And didn't really, yeah. So she'll be my flop of the spring. Look, I'd love to see her do well. I've backed her before, backed her plenty of times, but I just don't see her continuing at the level, especially if she's running against Zugotcha. I think Zugotcha's in for a decent spring. Had a really good autumn, so I think a Tissue will be a fall off for me.
Mine's, last spring it was the slipper winner, Shinzo, and then, maybe even I said Shinzo was autumn, but I know I've said it was going to be a flop, and he was. Not quite slipper winner, but the one that was supposed to be the slipper winner, Stormboy. I find 3-year-olds, they're so hard. Like, you think 2-year-olds are hard. 3-year-olds are just as hard in this time of the year, because they're either going to go on with the job or they're going to fall off a cliff. And then you've got a bunch more coming in that we didn't see as 2-year-olds, who, again, could either be nothing or they could be amazing. In the last few years, we've seen Golden Mile, In Secret, Osmosis, Riff Rocket, list goes on. Celestial Legends, another one, of horses that either debuted just before the 3-year-old season starts, or were very quiet as 2-year-olds, or even debuts literally as a 3-year-old and just come out of nowhere. Like, they come from nowhere and they start to knock off all of these big horses that we got to know and love over the autumn from their 2-year-old season. And Stormboy, we were there for his Magic Millions run. Phenomenal. Fantastic. I'm not going to take that away from him. But then I said multiple times, I wasn't sold on the fact that he's meant to be this world beater just because he won a Magic Millions. How often do Magic Millions winners go on to do anything of note really after that? Because those horses are worked so hard really early on in their careers to make sure they get up for those rich races, those 2-year-old races, and then oftentimes they drop off because they've been worked so hard at a young age. They want to get in, win races, get out to the breeding barn. So I think, I just don't think he's going to, buddy, go on with the job. Stormboy.
Fair
Flop of the
enough.
spring. Okay, so, mate, what we're going to do is we're going to get into Punt to the Future. Here, new segment. We're going to take a tenner each week. We're going to get on Dabble and see who can make the most money when it comes to futures betting. All right, so I'll go nice and quickly. Cashy's week 1 tip for Punt to the Future. I'm whacking $10 on Ilias to win the Metropolitan. So came out and blew the competition away. First up in Australia. Of course, was your best bet that day at $8. Probably not going to get him at that price again, but he's $8 for the Metropolitan. And I think he's going to win Randwick this weekend. We'll talk about that soon. But, once he wins... Sorry, I keep doing that. Once she wins, that price is going to half. So $8, get on now. Elias in the Metropolitan. Let's make some money this spring on the futures. That's my first tip.
I'm going to go for... It's going to be something different than I agreed to pre-show. Sorry, mate. I'm going Tom Kitten to win the Epsom handicap at the 1600.
Oh, okay.
Paying, I just think, just below $8, $7.50, $8-ish. I think that... I was going with the Golden Eagle,
You
but
were, yes.
I think the Epsom's a bit safer to go with, to be honest, because, yeah, it's just probably a bit easier. Golden Eagle's a hard one to win. Big money race. A lot of internationals come across that look good as well. That wouldn't be in the futures markets just yet. So I'll go with Tom Kitten for the Epsom.
Fair enough, mate. Okay, let's get into the rundown. I know we have been talking for a while, punters. It's what you came to see, but we were just needing, so much to catch up on. And let us know what you think of those new segments, whether we should shorten them or make them longer or get rid of them entirely. But we've got the track report for Randwick. Soft 6 at the moment, but it was a beautiful day out in Sydney today, and we've got beautiful days out scheduled all the way up until Saturday. So I would be very shocked if we don't start on a good 4 or at least end up there at some point during the day. Rail out 3 metres for the entire circuit, so that's usually the cutoff when bias starts to come into it. But I think the track should play pretty fair. Just make sure to monitor it in case any bias becomes apparent. Race 1, 1,200 metres. The midway, mate, I think I know who you're going to be on, so I'll keep it brief. I'm going to be on Smashing Eagle. Going back to the well, it's got a terrible racing pattern, always gets really far back and just slashes home for 3rd or 4th. But I mean, Midway's such a drop in class for it. It was a much higher benchmark horse that just had to keep dropping back in class because it kept coming up short. And J-Mac's gone on for the first time. So clearly he's confident. Whenever do you see J-Mac riding in a Midway? So $3.80 to start off the season of the Quaddie Poddy. Smashing Eagle for me. Mate, who are you on?
I am on Cheerful Legend, my horse, as we all know. $21, $5 to replace. Looking nice. First up, apprentice on board. Can't complain. So we move to race number 2 at the 2,400 metres. Benchmark 78. I'm going with Strathte. 12th barrier, Nash on board. $7 to win, $2.50 to place. It's had 2 wins previous, and the 2 runs before that haven't been too bad. So, look, I'm going to go with it here. It's going to be nice.
Jesus, mate, pick a dart and throw it at a board. Probably the worst race of the day, in my opinion. But after this, it really starts to pick up. Tijanus, I think I've said it on the end. Like I said, anything can really win it. Haven't loved its first 2 runs in Australia, but they say he likes dry. They say he's bred for much further, of course. He is in international import from over in the UK. They are usually, better when we get out to the 2,400 metre range. So $8.50 to win, $2.80. Going to have to go with Tijanus and hope that we at least get a place there. Race 3, the highway. I said, how often do you see J-Mac in a midway? You're seeing him in a highway here. You don't see that very often. And Creon blitzed the competition in country grade. New kettle of fish here. But if he's able to do what he did, I think it was a 4-length victory. Probably going to see it jump even out of this grade next start. And the fact that J-Mac's on board, he must be super confident because he doesn't often suit up for these higher races. But, geez, at $2.60, I can't entertain him in a stacked highway. He could get stuck in traffic. He could just fail to fire. It's a highway. You never know what's going to happen. So I'm going to go Cool Storm, $13 to win, $3.70 to place. Last start was over at Rose Hill, 1,200 metres, led strongly the entire way till just at the last moment, got swooped, comes back to the 1,100 metre mark now with a bit of extra fitness. Hopefully he can lead all the way and get the job done here.
I'm going to go with Milton Road, Nashville again, $8 and $2.70 for a place. One last start, another hard one. Move on to race number 4 at the 1,600, benchmark 78. Your favourite here is Step Aside with J-Mac on board again. I'm going with West of Africa here. Tyler Schiller, $8, $2.60 for a place. 2 on the trot here. Has 1 at the 1,600 last start as well. So looking very nice. So I'll go with it here, West of Africa.
I'm spotting Madatsu in this one, and I'm very keen to see how it goes as prep. Was in the Spring Champion Stakes. So it was running around in Group 1s in the Spring. Now it's in benchmark 78s. I did tip it in the Spring Champion Stakes. I believe you told me you'd get a tattoo if it won, because it was at like $56. I think it ran about 10 lengths off the finish. Proved why it was $56. But I mean, came out full of running and got the job done first up. So I really want to see how it can go back in sort of this sort of class throughout the spring. $12 to win, $3.50 to place. Wide barrier is the concern though, but as long as Tommy Berry can find the horses back in transit and doesn't get it trapped wide without cover, I think he can give them a run for their money late. So Madatsu for me in the 4th as we move to the 5th. The 2,000 metres Group 3 Premier's Cup. I spoke about this horse earlier with the Metropolitan. Elias, man. She was so impressive first up, and I know that was against shitty winter horses, and this is a different kettle of fish. These are all usual spring contenders, but I just think, comes out here, has the ability to win it strongly. It's at $2 currently. So if it stays at $2, get on. $2 is a bet. Anything below that, just get onto the Metropolitan and hope for the best.
Yeah, I agree. I'll keep it pretty simple there, and I'll keep this one pretty simple. Race number 6 to 1200. Manal, she was my top seed from the 2-year-old trials last year, and I backed her through a lot of autumn preps and a lot of her 2-year-old races, and she did me well, so I've got to stick with her here. $2.60. She loses a lot of talent in the field, so she's not actually versing anyone that I don't think is she can beat. We'll wait and see, but I think she's looking pretty nice for this one.
Yeah, like I said with the 3-year-olds, you got to go back to it. These horses, like we said, nobody's in comparison to Manal, but she could have regressed and they could have progressed on. They could come out of nowhere and romp it in here. But considering her trial the other day, she looks ready to rock. So I think she's just one that I'm going to personally be backing till she fails and we see a regression. So I'm pretty confident, like I said, unless someone's going to jump out of the ground, that she can get the job done. $2.60, considering, that run in the Golden Slipper, and then was able to come out and win the size next start. She's the class horse of the field. Not often they carry this much weight, but I just think class is going to get her home. We move to race 7, the Show County Group 3 at 1,200 metres. Really, really good race here. I'm so glad that the good horses are back. It's stacked with talent, this one. You got much, much better. It's probably going to try and set the pace. You got Yellow Brick, our Kobe-san, Fearson, also probably going to try and tuck into that pocket. Right behind, much, much better. Then you've also got Democracy Manifest and Jolly Star going to show their hands late. Look, if Jolly Star wants to be in the Everest, a win here is a must. I don't think Jolly Star is a horse that screams Everest. But I mean, we need to find new sprinting stars, and she could come out here and smash them and make me look silly. And I hope she does, because we desperately do need sprinting stars. So if she's our next sprinting star, by all means, please come out here and smash them. But I've just got to sit and watch with her until she does it. I can't put my money on her. I respect those who do, but I personally can't. I'm actually going to go with the omen bet of all omen bets, Succulent Chinese Meal. RIP to Jack Carlson, the man himself who died recently. You got to be with Democracy Manifest at $15 to win, $3.80 to place. Has the runs on the board compared to a lot of these younger horses. The stats to suggest he'll run strong. Always loves first up. Always loves this distance and when it's a good track. And you can just hear Darren Flindell's voice, can't ya? Succulent Chinese Meal for all. If he stones over them, it'll be great to see. And I'll definitely be licking my lips considering the price that he's at, mate.
Fair enough. I'm with Jolly Star. Got scratched from another race to race in this one. So $3.30. Had a nice little run earlier this year and it looked really nice. So, doesn't look too bad at 1,200. J-Max always flying, so we'll go there. Skip race 8. So you take us to race 9, mate.
We've got the Toy Show Quality Group 3, 1,100 metres here. It's another great race. I'll keep saying it. It's great to have good horses back. Look, the Black Cloud's the likely leader from the inside gate here. Wouldn't be surprised if she led all the way. She gives me major think about it 2023 vibes, man. Just a benchmarker that dogs its way through every grade and gets to the big time. Gets the chance to prove herself here if she's actually going to be able to make that jump from benchmark racing to group racing. She's looked super, super impressive throughout benchmark career. Now it's time to see if she's got what it takes. But, you got your Opal Ridges. You got your Lady Lagunas. You got your Commemoratives. You got a lot of other horses that have proven themselves on bigger stages than the Black Cloud has done. That's why I'm surprised the Black Cloud comes up here as favourite. Obviously, you've got Lady Laguna, biggest star in the race. Reason not favourite has to be that 61 kilos, and that's why I'm not on it. I just think it weighs her down in the end, even though 1,100 metres, usually weight doesn't matter as much, but that's a lot of weight considering the Black Cloud and Commemorative, the two favourites of the race, are carrying 53 kilos, 8 kilos less there. Talking of Commemorative, that's why I'm on here. She's just so big. She is so big. She's been that big since a 2-year-old. Like, if you watch her trial, she was humming like a V8 engine, and she's twice the size of all the other horses she's trialling against. I think she's going to sit up, probably just off the pace, come around, and then just go whooshka in the end and run down the Black Cloud late. So I'm happy to take a member at $3.70.
Yeah, I'm with you again.
Great minds think alike.
There's not much else to say. We move to last 1,200 metres, benchmark 78.
Gross race.
Yuck again. Another one I'd stay away from. I'm going to go Invader Zim, 10th barrier, Kieran McAvoy, $3.70.
Panic is another one here I'm just going to take simply because of trials. Speaking about the Black Cloud, Panic actually beat it in a trial recently, and considering that's the favourite in a Group 3 race, and then, this is paying $5 to win, $2 to place in a benchmark 78, surely it can at least get a place and get our money back with that $2 to place. Lick at my lips there, and the fact that, J-Max on, all I'm seeing is tick, tick, tick. So Panic for me to finish off the day at Randwick. And that takes us, mate, into the great tip-off. So for those who don't know how it works, every week, Nick and I are going to tip the feature races. It could be a Group 1. It could be a race like the Everest. It's not a Group 1, but it's, one of the biggest races in the country. You can actually play along with us. The details are in the show notes right now. You can join us, $20 to sign up, and you play against us, and about 60 others are in the pool right now. You tip, every Thursday, you're going to get your email sheet. If you're listening to this on the Thursday morning, you still have time. You have time all of Thursday. It closes Thursday midnight. So if you want to join, click the link in the show notes and get involved. But Nick and I, for the first time, we're going to do a forfeit for whoever loses. Losers got to do a forfeit because, we always give each other so much shit about who's winning, who's losing, and there's no real consequences for losing.
I win, by the way. I've won the last couple.
Yeah, spring. I'm an autumn man. You're the spring man.
Who won autumn, though?
Yeah, true. You're on a hot streak, mate. You're on a hot streak.
He says he's the autumn man. I won last autumn, so he's nothing.
But yeah, let us know as well what sort of forfeits it could be. You've said you're not shaving your head, so that's one thing you rule out immediately.
Oh, look, if that's what they want, I would.
I'm thinking shaved head, spray tan.
Wow.
Maybe eat a chili. Maybe there's many things you could do. Maybe do the old got to go to Macca's, and every time you eat a quarter pounder, it takes an hour off the 24 hours you got to spend in Macca's. Who knows? But we'll let the people decide in the end. But mate, this week it's the Winx Stakes, and it's a horny field if I've ever seen one. My goodness me.
Yeah, it's a good field. Wow, racing's back, and it's just showing here. You got Fangirl, V Sustina, Tropical Squall, Riff Rocket, Zoo Gotcha, Samana, Detonated Jack, A Tissue, Just Finds, Dozy, Buckaroo, Zayrek. Wow.
It's a great field. So many Group 1 winners all gathered. It's a very much so spring's back. Let's get a bunch of guns, stick them on a field, and let's see how they go. Let's line them all up, let them fly. And honestly, you might want to just go, it's just Fangirl's going to piss in, or V Sustainer's going to piss in. But just about every horse you can make a case for.
Yeah, I think V Sustainer is really not looking for this one. I think, I don't know.
She scares me because she could be sent to win, or she could be sent for a jog.
Like I said, I think she's my Cox Plate chance, and she builds as she gets a bit longer distance. Riff Rocket looks good. First up record's real good, 3 from 3. Zoo Gotcha's amazing. I just don't know if she gets it done against this kind of field. It's tough. Tropical Squall's, I think, one that's really forgotten about in this field as well.
She should probably lead them up. Maybe even try it prior to Jenny.
Yeah, but I think I got to just stick with my guns with V Sustina, because if she wins, I'll kick myself. I'll go with a $6.50, $2.10. That'll be mine for the tip-off for the first one.
Yeah, look, V Sustina is a horse that I'm super scared of. It was very weird. The reports came out, J-Max riding V Sustina. The head of Yulong reported that. And then all of a sudden, J-Max riding Fangirl at the exhibition gallops on the weekend. And everyone's like, who's actually going to ride who now? And then finally got confirmed that K-Mac is on V Sustina, J-Max on Fangirl, as many expected him going in. There were a lot of futures punters scrambling, the fact that they'd locked in Fangirls at overs, because I think Fangirl's the number one horse in the country when J-Mac is on her, because J-Mac knows how to put her in the right spot and let fast horses go fast. Does Karen McAvoy know how to do that? Well, his track record on Fangirl isn't that great. Always gets her back on the fence, and that's literally the one spot J-Max says never do that for her. So it scares me that he's on V Sustina, because it's a gun of a horse. I think V Sustina is going to probably come out of the spring as one of the best horses in the country. I've heard major raps from the camp on V Sustina. They're very confident in this horse. So again, are they sending her out there to genuinely have a crack, or are they sending her for a Cox Plate trial? And I don't think the distance worries her. I'm not saying she's Winx. Before I say this, do not say jump down my throat. You know, Winx could get it done from 1,400 up to 2,000 metres. That's just the first off the top of the dome. We've seen multiple horses that can get it done from 1,400 to 2,000 metres. I think Vesestina has that wherewithal. But it's all comes down to the point, are they sending her for a win? Are they sending her for a jog? And the fact that J-Mac's on Fangirl, that's what seals it for me. Fangirl, just get the job done. This time last year, I bet my hair on Fangirl that if she didn't win a big race all spring, I was shaving it off. I'm happy to do it again. I'm happy to go double or nothing. If Fangirl does not win a single big race all spring, the hair will come off punters. I'm confident that she's the best horse in the country. When you give her conditions and you get J-Mac, that's exactly what she gets here. I think she just gets up.
Fair enough, mate. We'll move around the ground. I only got one today, and it is in, I believe, the Vale Black Caviar Plate, and that is Immortal Star. If that's not an Omen bet, if I've ever heard one. She was an Immortal, so yep, bang on.
I've got Mooney Valley Race 8, Sands Dude to fly the flag for the Tia Cow. Guys, now that Imperatriz is retired, $5.50 to knock off Bold Bastille and Mornington Glory, the two favourites there. And then extra two in the last at $5 to win, $2 to place each way. Just a horse that's super consistent in races like this. Gives me Savannah Cloud vibes. If you listen to this podcast and you know that we back that all the time because you know you're going to get an honest run out of it. Same thing with this horse. Might not win, but you know you're going to get an honest run. And considering it's at each way, you've got to get around it. So we've already talked about Quaddies at length on this episode. Let's get into ours, mate. The Quaddie for Randwick. Take us through it.
Race 7, Our Kobe's Son, Democracy Manifest, Jolly Star and Griff. Race 8, Fangirl, Vesestina, Zugotcha, Riff Rocket. Race 9, The Black Cloud, Commemorative, Lady Laguna and Komochi. Race 10, Panic, Springly, Invader Zim and World Alliance. $50 gets you your usual 19.5%.
100%, guys. And honestly, I know a few of you will try and go skinny in some of those legs. Maybe try and, just go Jolly Star or just go Our Kobe Son. Just go Fangirl Vesestina. Go ahead. But spring, the good horses are back. Like I said, this is the time of year where any of them can put their hand up. So be careful in going super skinny. But if you manage to pull it off and get the job done, all spoils go to the victors. But, mate, as we always finish it off, the very best bet. We bragged at the start about how good we were going in the lead up. Let's make sure we hit these. If you're going to have one bet around the country, who is it and why?
Commemorative is going to be mine. $3.70. We both loved it. She's a big horse. She's the best one in that race, I reckon. So it's going to be mine. Fair
enough. I'm going LES race 5, if above $2. If not, get it back our girl Manal in the 6 at that $2.60 price range. So the second LES drops below $2, I am going all in on Manal.
Bag.
Alrighty. First pod in the new setup. I know we ran a bit long today, guys, but there was a lot to discuss. And, we tried out a couple of new segments. Obviously, most weeks we back down to our around 45 minutes, around 50 minutes. But all I can say is, we keep saying year of the mock, spring of the mock. It's going to be a big one. Now that we've got this, there's going to be so much more content coming out to you guys. Let us know what you want to see. Let us know who you want to see us interview. Let us know anything. We're here to serve you guys, and we honestly can't wait. I think it's just going to be a massive spring, and I can't wait to see it. From a racing point of view, I can't wait to see where it's going to take us. And, yeah, looking forward to it.
It's good. All right, take care, guys. Good luck this weekend, and we'll see you next week.